Another one of the really interesting dynamics of every deadline, and you touched on this, is the clubhouse and the impact all of it is having on those players
Yep.
in that clubhouse. And there are a lot of front offices now who leave their players guessing about what's going to happen. And I knew you didn't handle it that way. What kind of conversations were you having with players in your clubhouse as the deadline approached?
Yeah. Um, well, I was pretty open with. I had some conversations with Bellinger and Stroman because those guys were sort of on the block, and I told them kind of where we were. And I wanted to be honest with them, and then Dansby was on the IL for a while. He was on the IL. He got hurt against Milwaukee, and I think he missed the first two series after the All Star break. And he had way too much time on his hands, and so Dansby was sort of playing front office guy for a while, but when he wasn't playing, and so I had a lot of long conversations with him that were actually really fascinating. He's so thoughtful, and I think he was kind of curious about our mindset, and we sort of sold him when he came here on like, this is, we're getting better and better, and like this, our farm system is getting better and better, and if you join us now, we think that you're going to be part of something special, but hey, the first year it may not be the best team you're a part of. You're going to help us build something. And I think he kind of has taken that to heart. It's like he wants to be part of the building process and wants to be part of the thought process. So I had a lot of really good conversations with him about it as well. But I think it's important to communicate. Like I've probably gotten better and better at that throughout my career, that I don't know if I would have been as good about that when I was in San Diego, but knowing to go talk to all the players and having these conversations. But now I realize that they're reading about it. I think there's a real human uncertainty to it. And I always just say, I've been so fortunate. I think I've been here since 2011 in Chicago, and you have real stability. And I think to myself, I can't imagine just waking up one morning and someone telling me, hey, like you're moving to a different city, your wife and kids are moving to a different city. And you realize like there's a human impact of that. I don't think I had the same understanding of that kind of thing before I had a wife and kids. Now I think I look at it a little bit differently. Like, oh wow, if I had to like tell them we're moving tomorrow, that would be really hard. And so it's the job, but it's also realizing that they have difficult lives they have to deal with at this time. Cody Bellinger moved here. He's got an apartment. His wife had a kid in April. Like they don't want to leave, and so you have to deal with that reality.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a really interesting side of the deadline. Not that
Actually,
a lot of
it's a
people think.
funny side story, but
Yeah.
I remember I didn't give this story a second thought, but later on it came up when I was with the Red Sox. I think we claimed Chris Woodward off waivers, and we needed him in the lineup like that day or the next day. And I called him, and I think this was like 07 or 08. I was single, I had no kids, and definitely didn't get it. And I called him, and I was like, hey, like we got a bunch of injuries. Like we really need you to play shortstop against the Yankees like tomorrow night. Like really need you in the lineup. He's like, okay, here's the deal. I'm in wherever he was at the time physically. I'm in a hotel. Like I've got two kids that are sick. My wife is sick. Like, and he's like going through this whole saga. I was like, okay, so like I said, we need you in the lineup tomorrow. And he said he looked back. He's like, it was so obvious that you had no idea. I blew right through that stop sign. I was like, that's a great story. Like we need you in the lineup. And obviously now I think I view that kind of thing differently. And I'm kind of embarrassed by it, but also it kind of makes me realize like how much life changes you.